Okay, good, we're set.
Looks like we're recording.
Perfect. I'm gonna make Lauren a co-host also. And you know what we'll do? Okay, perfect. Janet's recording. And when we send out our weekly update, we can put this in our weekly update, Janet. You know, I don't want to waste a whole lot of Lauren's time or Yogesh's time, so I'll let you get started, Lauren, and hopefully the others will join us in progress.
Okay. So Yogesh, just because we're so one-on-one today, and sometimes, you know, the audience definitely has helpful questions or points of focus, we were going to ask anyone who joined today just if they had any specific information that they were hoping to find today in the presentation or that I can address for you. Or was this more just to pop in and see what's going on and, you know, gather general information?
So, well, a couple of things. So I've been independent for about 5 years now, and been off and on using the healthcare, Obamacare, forget the name, the portal to get the insurance. And last couple of years, I did my own and found insurance for myself and my family. You know, we were thinking of joining the Chamber of Commerce anyway, very soon, more so for my wife. She's also been in her own practice for the last few years. So we thought that this will be a good segue. And a friend of mine, he gets his insurance from the Chamber of Commerce. So he just mentioned to me one time that this is available. That's how I went to check this out. So I thought it should be a good segue into that. Also, like from the insurance needs, you know, we really need more of a basic insurance because touch wood, we don't have any medical emergencies or any serious medical conditions. So consideration just that we got to have insurance. So that's my personal situation.
Okay, so that's good to know. And I think a lot of the timing of this, so what we prepared today has a lot of just the general cost strategies that we're talking about with small businesses in general. And then also we directed this a lot at the individual market and what's going on with the Pennsylvania Exchange and some important dates coming up. But I think this will give you a really good sample of kind of what we do and how we do it. And even when you just work with an individual advisor to secure maybe just individual coverage for you and your wife, you do have access to all of my benefit advisor services. So the things that we'll talk about and just touch on today, you know, if you do decide to reach out to us, we have great individual team that works with small businesses up to only 9 employees, which is attention, very focused, and places individual coverage. And they're wonderful, can help you sort through the entire process, place your coverage for you, and then you have access to them for questions and concerns in the future as well. So I think a lot of what we'll go over today is a good sample of kind of what we do and what the advantage of working through the chamber is.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen into the presentation and we'll get started. And again, we'll try to keep this right at, you know, no more than a half an hour and touch on just the most important of each slide, and can certainly, anyone who's watching later always is welcome to reach out to me, even just for a 15 minute or so conversation to talk about what programs we have specific to your business. So my name is Lauren Papari, and I've worked with my benefit advisor for just under 2 years. I have been in the industry 20 years, and a little bit of everything from network contracting to the carrier perspective, have been on the broker side several times. And one of the reasons that I joined my benefit advisor truly is because of the value proposition that they offer to their members and the division that works so closely with chambers and associations across the state. So we're going to talk a little bit about that value proposition and just who we are, give you a little overview of the insurance marketplace, what's coming out for renewals in the fourth quarter for small businesses and fully insured, and then just touch on each of these cost saving strategies. So we could go into great depth here, but we just want to give you a sample of what we're speaking about with our current clients and new customers that are calling us for some help right now, and then touch on just our very key, you know, probably our best of our employer resources that are 100% included in working with us as a small business. And then we'll open it up for some more questions. So just to give you a little scope of my benefit advisor and the team, we have 100 employees across Pennsylvania. with 12 offices serving over 130 associations. Our resources from Montgomery County Chamber: I am the relationship manager for Montgomery County Chamber, and I also am the sales account executive for groups that have 10 or more employees. And so if you're watching this later and you are a group that falls in that category, and again, just want to have a discussion, I would be your contact to do so. Jim Pitts, who's been around the chamber arena for a very long time through insurance and through MBA, he is our sales team leader for individual coverage and employer groups 2 to 9. He has an entire team behind him, one of which the member that's assigned to you is Mark Ferrier, and he's tremendous, worked for Independence Blue Cross for a long time in the individual market, and is really an expert at placing that coverage. So Mark is your contact. Jim can always assist as well. And then Medicare, Peg Sorrentino is an account executive with our Medicare department. We're going to talk a little bit about our Medicare resources, but especially with open enrollment and the enrollment changes coming up for Medicare through the fall, really important time to have Medicare resources available to all of you. And that's something that we've actually separated out into a separate department because of all the intricacies and misunderstandings that there oftentimes are with Medicare. So Peg is excellent at this. She's just phenomenal. My benefit advisor and who we are. So we are technically a division of USI Insurance Services. Some of you may be familiar with USI. We have been the named insurance partner of hundreds of chambers of commerce over the past 50 years. And the reason that it is a benefit to be connected to USI is that market leverage of being connected to a top 5 national brokerage really enables us to bring services that would not usually be available to an individual or a small group of 2, let's say, to our customers at no cost. And so we work in a market that typically covers 2 to up to 300 employees through our chambers and associations. Obviously, as you all know, being members, a lot of those businesses are definitely under the 50 employee mark. Sometimes a lot are under 10 in certain associations. And so we are able to bring our personalized approach for small business to those groups and offer them HR support, any type of employee service and resources for support, HR even replacement in some cases, benefits administration and technology at no cost. So again, just to put in front of you a little bit of a sampling of what's happening in the renewal space. If you are a small business right now, you're receiving your annual renewals, which about 80% or so of businesses renew January 1st. So this is a very, very busy time. And in businesses under 50 employees, October to January is very, very busy based on some of the changes that happened through healthcare reform over the past few years. So in Western Pennsylvania, Central Pennsylvania, and Northeast Pennsylvania, we see a very consistent increase happening here of 9 to 13%, 11 to 15% in Northeast. But in Southeastern Pennsylvania, we have our fully insured renewals through Blue Cross and United Healthcare that are expected to be, and are just being released this week, under 5% increase. And so why is this happening? Well, a lot of it has to do with the delay in opening and in returning to work throughout the state. And kind of you see that trend, how it moved west to east for Pennsylvanians. That Southeast corridor really did not experience much claim volume this year. While we had we were all hearing about a lot of sickness and COVID, those claims have not really hit in and across the state yet. A lot of the services that we would all be getting for preventative care, elective surgeries, all of our regular healthcare that you think about that you just get throughout the year as a checkup, none of us really did that for the past 6 months. And might be, in my personal case, I'm just starting to hear from my physicians to say, hey, we need to reschedule your checkup. So all of those claims, if you think about it, all that utilization really didn't hit for January. We're going to look at this probably as a long-term impact, whether you're a small business or a large business. And so we just wanted to give you a little scope of kind of what's going on right now and what we're looking at for the future. So a couple of the programs, and again, we won't dig really into the nitty-gritty today to keep to time, but some of the programs we can talk about one-on-one is our level funded programs, which have exclusive discounts for chamber members. So if you are a Montgomery County Chamber member and you are a business that works with My Benefit Advisor, and you are 2 to 100 employees, we can talk about a level funded program. So a level funded program is a baby step of self-funding for small business. It's very protected and safe. Both United Healthcare and Aetna offer excellent products in this space across the entire state. And when we talk about level funding, we're talking about part of it is an actual medically underwritten rate that goes based on your claims, or I should say your medical history looking back about 5 years. So each one of your employees would be asked either through a census format or sometimes in a questionnaire if they need that much information to complete a small questionnaire about their medical history. If the rates look good and if the population is pretty healthy or just being managed for any conditions that exist. So it's okay to have conditions, but if they're being managed properly, we're looking at a savings in this product going through that underwriting process of anywhere from 8 to 16 or more % compared to those age-banded rates and those fully insured rates for a small business. So especially in the group sizes under 50 lives, this can be, I've seen in my time, since I was even on the carrier side, a savings of 15 to 25% average at times, depending on the right group fit. So we're giving you an extra 2% on those final rates discount just for being a Montgomery County Chamber member and working with My Benefit Advisor. So again, that applies to both United Healthcare and Aetna. Just to give you a quick example, 25 employee company, it was facing an 8% premium increase to a little over $187,000 in fully insured coverage. And they were able, through moving a level funded proposal, to have a 10% decrease from current. So again, taking them out of that age banded rating a little bit of their claims experience independently, looking at where they are now and projecting where they would be in the future, and then applying that additional 2% discount. And so the final cost savings, you're looking at almost a $30-some thousand savings from where they would have been at renewal. So I have a similar story for a 6 life group, just saved them $13,500 from current for 6 lives, and also saved them about $17,500 from renewal costs, potential renewal costs, by switching them into this level funded product. So a lot of success stories that we're having with this. We also have our My Benefit Advisor professional employee organization, which is known as a PEO. Some of you may or may not be familiar with a PEO solution, but what it does is it combines all of your resources into one platform. Our platform is through AbleHR, and we've partnered with them to offer payroll, work comp evaluation, your HR timekeeping services, and time off tracking, all of those things in one platform combined with your medical, dental, and vision, and whatever coverages you decide to offer on this platform. The difference here is that the fully insured rates through United Healthcare that are part of the AbleHR platform would be about, they're roughly saving anywhere from 10 to 15% off of other fully insured rates. And that's because of the pooled risk. So if we look at this PEO, I think the easiest way for everyone to think about it is to look at it almost as the closest to an association health plan of pooled risk that we can have. And all of our association members and chamber members have access to this program. We like to shoot for a case size of roughly 20 employees or less. But it's something to look at in combining costs, because year over year, when we look at the overall savings of outsourcing each and every item of payroll and HR timekeeping or onboarding platforms and technology that you need to process your day-to-day, when you look at a total savings over a 5-year period, sometimes it would equate to a little over $100,000 for a small business to go into this platform. So something to talk about. It's a very specific process to get a quote, and something we can discuss one-on-one if you're interested in hearing about that. Health reimbursement accounts, the main key point that we're talking about with health reimbursement accounts, if you remember back before HSAs became popular, HRAs became popular, and this is more being used today with an element of what's called a difference card. The difference card can be set up using an actual HRA, health reimbursement account model. Health reimbursement accounts keep the money with the employer. So that means that if an employer decides I'm going to increase my deductible this year, but I want to reimburse my employees for the difference because I don't want them to experience that out of pocket if something happens that applies to a deductible. We can arrange it so that anytime someone would go into the hospital or have a major service performed that applies to that deductible, that the employer gives them a certain amount that they decide on back, right? So it's covering that gap, but the lower premium comes from increasing that deductible. And so there's a wonderful card called the difference card that can be used for that purpose, or creating a medical expense reimbursement account where monies come out that the employer's decided to fund. And it also can tie to flexible spending accounts and be a layered account where the card actually knows which account to take it from. So that's really a concept that, again, involves a conversation one-on-one to see if it's a fit for you to move forward as a business. And then we take that same concept, and Jim's team has been working very hard on a lot of these situations where an individual coverage HRA is a new concept brought to individual coverage. So group insurance that we just talked about, all of those things that we just went over, is one way to go. But if you're an employer that right now is struggling to afford a certain contribution towards your benefits plan, but you still want to try to provide something towards your employees for their coverage, we can help you work out the intricacies of helping each employee shop for their own individual coverage, but you can actually support them with a whatever you decide contribution. So let's just say you're going to give everyone $100 to $200 a month or $100 a month towards shopping for that individual marketplace coverage, instead of offering that United Healthcare, Independence Blue Cross, Aetna plan, through you as the employer. We can help tie all of that together. And like I said, Jim's team and the individual side has done a lot of these in the under 10 space to help people maintain a benefits plan of some sort for their employees right now. And we would be the access point for those employees to help shop and place that individual coverage as well as a support system. So when we talk about upcoming important dates, this is really important, and why some of the timing purpose in this seminar and this recording is really to just announce some of the important dates coming up for individual marketplace. So Pennsylvania is moving to the new Pennsylvania individual exchange called Penny, and that is happening November 1st through January 15th for open enrollment for individuals. Any individuals who enroll after December 15th, but before the 15th of January, are going to start their coverage February 1st. And I've talked to Jim. I know it's very, we're amidst 1,000 things right now in Pennsylvania, right? We're vocatting, we're doing a lot right now, and they're also rolling out this private exchange. And so that being said, I know there's been some delays that are getting worked out. The floodgates, I think, have opened as far as getting people enrolled, but they are getting updated every day on just what the process is and how to get people in the system through the Pennsylvania Exchange from now through January 15th. Medicare Advantage or Medicare Part D, we just mentioned this in the beginning, enrolling or making plan changes October 15th through December 7th, and that includes all Medicare supplements and Part D prescription coverage. And then again, as we mentioned before, open enrollment season, if anyone is a group that right now has just received their renewal and they would like an outsider's opinion on something, or just to talk about what their struggles are, if something is, something that's a challenge or a new benefit offering that they're looking for to add to their medical, we can certainly help talk through those things, as a majority of businesses will renew their health insurance on January 1st. And then Medicare, I think we touched on enough, just for the purpose of this, but obviously we created an entire department around Medicare because of its intricacies, and it's something that you and your family members have access to working with my benefit advisor. So when we talk about our value-added services, again, everything I'm talking about in this section comes with part of our service package. This is what every client gets. There is not a fee that's associated with these services, and ThinkHR is probably one of our top value-added services that is so well received by chamber members and association members. So ThinkHR is an HR support, or can be an actual replacement in a super small business, like a 2 to 10 range, or even I would say up to 25 employees. It can act as a breathing HR department. Has 3 components. One is compliance, where it has a living handbook builder. This is a super popular functionality of ThinkHR for our clients. I'll give you an example. I just enrolled a 9-life client, and she could not wait to build the handbook. And so it allows them to go in and custom add any rules or culture things that they want to include in their handbook, but it's going to give them all the state regulations for Pennsylvania already built in, so that they don't have to worry about whether it's right or wrong or checking with legal. And that is really crucial right now, because we're going to talk about just in a slide, on the next slide, like what is entailed there for just this year, to update. And what happens is with the living handbook, as ThinkHR gets updates on each state that you're present in as an employer, it will automatically update your handbook. So it'll say there's new regulations that have been added. So it's very, very easy to use and friendly. There's a job performance review and compensation analysis. There's also compliance guides and checklists available. We have a ton of compliance on our end in our departments through our director of legislation. Shelley, if you joined the last time we presented, she's just a wealth of information and she works with an entire team, but this is a nice complement for easy DOL stuff to just go in, look for your Department of Labor kind of checklists, and hiring and termination guides as well. For the live access, pretty simple. It's access to experienced PHR and SHRM professionals that have live call access from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern, or you can access them via email. And they'll write you back an entire legal resolution that has checked the box for the issue that you're asking them about. Great example of this, when I had my first client, she had just had an interaction with her attorney over an employee that showed up intoxicated to work. It cost her $1,500. She said, if I had met you 3 weeks ago, I could have saved $1,500, where this would have been free to call in. So again, a huge legal support there to make sure that you're doing the right things and approaching things the right way when sensitive situations come up. And then the learn component is great. It's just over 300 training courses on compliance, safety, wellness, diversity training is now, of course, front and center, as well as sexual harassment and other trainings that are super important in the workplace. It can all be distributed electronically. So when we talk about, excuse me, when we talk about updating your employee handbook, this is just a quick list. And again, in the presentation we can save so that you can review it and take a look at this. But this would just be what was updated likely this year, just based on COVID. So, the FFCRA, Families First Coronavirus Act, that went into place, extending family leave, extending telecommuting policies, things about just health and safety specifics to COVID, all things about communicating new policies to employees that went into effect. So just to give you a sample here of how useful it is to find those policies already updated in most cases, or you're just adding it into your handbook through ThinkHR. 2 tools that we have for virtual enrollment and onboarding, which are super helpful. We, oddly enough, completely obviously unplanned, launched this February to March of this year. So perfect timing for needing an actual solution for virtual enrollment is when we really got these systems up and productive. Benefix is a quote system that quotes and actually enrolls 2 to 50 groups. So once I would work with you as an under 50 life employer, we take the quote that we showed you a nice side by side with a spreadsheet. We're able to actually push that through the system to initiate which plans you're choosing. And employee open enrollment goes out to walk them through a very simplified decision support tool, collect the necessary forms from HR that are needed to submit your group or make renewal changes. And then we're able to push everything off to the carrier, very clean, like a very clean submission process. So it eliminates, the back and forth that we typically go through, collecting people's forms. Employees can enroll online and choose the plan that they want to take, and we don't need to gather any forms from them. It's all electronic signatures. And it just creates a lot more seamless environment, especially in today's world where we, based on the actual company and where they're located, we may or may not be able to do a live meeting. And then Employee Navigator, this is really geared for employers that have groups that are size 25 or more employees, but we have smaller clients that use this and are happy to provide it to them. This is more a benefits administration tool. So we just talked about getting your group into the system through Benefix, but anyone who's 25 or more can actually use this to build ahead of time to connect payroll. You can actually have it set up where Payroll comes in when a new employee is added, and then when they're benefit eligible, HR gets a notice and actually is able to push that out to an employee that it's time for them to enroll in their benefits. They have full onboarding capability and functionality, timekeeping, things like that, paid time off tracking, and also asset management tracking. So it depends on, again, how robust you want this platform to be built out on. The primary purpose for it, if you wanted to keep it simple, is to store all your benefit information and be able to communicate back and forth with your employees in a benefits environment through open enrollment and new hire onboarding, to keep it very streamlined for them and everything be in one spot and then come back to HR in one spot. So again, it's a little bit different tool. It can be built out as much or as little, as lean as you'd like it to be used for. And again, both of those, no cost to the employer to use it. So again, just last couple points here. We talked a lot about association discounts with the Aetna and United product. Our benefit service center is something that we take great pride in. We have 25 licensed professionals that even through shutdown, the next day were switched over for their whole lines to be directed to their homes, to answer employee requests, claim questions, claim issues, keep them out of HR, keep them out of the business owners' ears for HIPAA. And so keep it away and off their desk, and also help with taking that work of an employee sitting on the phone with maybe a claim that they don't understand just to talk to a carrier. Our team is working on that for them. We talked about ThinkHR and online enrollment, college resources. If you're looking for a unique benefit to offer right now, we have a student loan repayment benefit that can be offered side by side to a 401k contribution. And so it would look something like, instead of maybe someone getting as much 401k contribution from their employer, they might opt to have a couple percent contributed towards their student loans. And we use a vendor called Goodly that makes that very, very easy to do pre-tax. And the employee gets the tax advantage as well as just paying off their own loans in a pre-tax environment. Compliance assistance, we talked a lot about with ThinkHR, and we mentioned Shelly and our team internally across the country. So we have a very thorough compliance assistance program. You'll see annual notices from us, compliance bulletins, webinars at times. Different communication tools can be built depending on what the group needs, whether it be guidebooks, open enrollment materials. COVID Resource Center, you can actually find access to the COVID Resource Center right in the Montgomery County Chambers My Benefit Advisor section of their website. So you'll see a COVID-19 tab right in the middle of the website, and you can look for FAQs and carrier updates and a ton of information regarding COVID and your health coverage. And then MetLife Dental and Vision, we have exclusive plans and rates that are designed for our chamber membership. The big key being is that these plans can actually just have one employee enroll, and we can actually offer coverage with just one. So if you have 10 people and you offer it and only one wants it, we can start a plan. And then Medicare, we've gone over at length. So that wraps it up for all the info that we wanted to share with you to let you know is here for you. And I'll take any questions or general discussion.
I have one question. You mentioned that this is for 2 to 50 employees. There is a possibility that my wife, she's a CPA, as I mentioned before, she will be hiring somebody pretty soon. Mm-hmm. But for now, I am an independent consultant without any employees. So if I need any people to work with me, I do a subcontract. Yep. My wife, she also does not have an employee at this time. So we just have one person, right? In one family to cover.
Yeah. So you're going to probably, until another employee that's another common law employee comes into the picture, you are likely going to have just the individual marketplace to choose from. We can still, if there was a reason that she needs ThinkHR, she starts to hire one other person. First of all, we could look at group coverage for her at that point under her business umbrella. But that automatically grants you access to ThinkHR and these other things. And if it was a situation where she needed access to it, I don't see it being a problem to give it to her as a business of one or to the two of you. as a client. There shouldn't be an issue.
So we need to, my benefit advisor is available only when we add an employee.
No, so my benefit advisor, we are an insurance consultant and broker.
Right.
So we are an insurance broker. We work with anyone from the individual of 1 all the way up to 300. But what I'm saying, some of the products, it's the products themselves, the actual insurance products. So like the level funded product, right, that has the extra 2% off right now, you have to at least be a group of 2.
Okay.
So that, that's not something that like has anything to do with us. It's just like it's the rules of group insurance and the rules of no matter what carrier you would go to. It's usually starts at 2. But that's why our individual team specializes in this. If there's a way to start a group of 1, they will walk you through it. But either way, what I'm saying is for your business purposes, if there's other services here that are embedded, like all the things we just went through, the ThinkHR, the benefit service team, all that stuff, you're going to have access to that as a client, no matter what size you are. So you can access any of our resources that you need, even though you're 1-on-1.
So help me understand. So if, as I said, we do plan to become members of the Chamber of Commerce for 2021. So does it make sense to go through the Chamber of Commerce for our insurance needs or no? I'm just not really very clear.
It's my benefit advisor is these programs that we're talking about are exclusive to the chambers of commerce that work with us. So, I mean, I think it makes sense, but you're not really going through the chamber, you're going through my benefit advisor.
Okay.
So
But essentially becoming a member gives us access to you.
Yeah, to anything that we're talking about that's exclusive to members.
Okay, but
there's a lot of other benefits too, which we can talk about later. This is just
yeah, we're just one of the resources that the chamber offers. So,
okay.
And again, it's a resource where we create special programs all the time for different chamber models.
Okay. Okay.
So Lauren, so even though, so just a quick question. So even though he has 2 companies, each with 1 employee each, they could still use all the benefits of my benefit advisor, all the HR, the compliance, all of that, and still get insurance through my benefit advisor. The only thing that they would not get is the level funded aspect where you get the 2% off of the insurance. Is that correct?
Other programs. So again, we're going to shop insurance based on group size. So the options that are available to Yogesh and his wife are different than options that are available to a group of 2 or a group of 3, or sometimes, or a group of, just like the options that are available to a group of 25 might be different than a group of 75, right?
Oh yeah, I understand, but he would still, he'd still be able to get a bid. He'd still be able to get an estimate or an idea of what the insurance would cost if it went through you. And then even, it might not have all the benefits of having a larger group, but still as an individual, you could compare. And then if they decided to hire other employees, then they would have all of these other resources, which has that added value with helping with the HR, compliance, payroll, all of those things.
So what we would do in that scenario is, let's say you were working with us for like a year as 2 singles, right? 2 individuals. And then next year your wife hires 1 person and we change her to a group plan, right? You could stay on your individual insurance. She goes into a group setting with this other employee and we change it. So we're going to modify the coverage based on what happens with your businesses or with, what happens with the 2 of you as individuals. But you're going to keep all the same access that you have to everything that we have, no matter what. So to your point, Janet, yes, you're going to access everything that we have, including you could even have you could have dental and vision insurance with MetLife. One of our programs where we can enroll a single person to actually shop that, to actually have some comparisons to look at. You don't just have to take exactly what's offered with the medical that you're purchasing through the marketplace. So.
Okay.
Any other questions? Or Ryan, do you have anything general that?
No, I think this was really informative. We're going to put this in our weekly e-news, so hopefully everybody will have the chance to watch it. I know there are a few other people said they're going to come on, but hopefully they'll be able to watch this video. I think this was great, Lauren. We really appreciate not only you, but we appreciate my benefit advisor for everything you do for the chamber. Yogesh, we'll follow up with you shortly because we do have special offers to join the chamber. We like to think of my benefit advisor as one of the premier benefits of joining our chamber, but there are other benefits as well. So we'll follow up with you since you're a neighbor of mine. And I think that would conclude our call.
Thank you.
Thank you for facilitating this, Ryan.
Thanks, everybody. Be well.